What's going on, team? Welcome to an episode of the Keep Going Podcast, Season 2. This is your co-host, Luke Wheat, coming out of Knoxville, Tennessee. Before the show starts, make sure to follow us on our socials, okay? Twitter, the Keep Going Pod, Insta, the KG Podcast, and YouTube at the KG Pod. Just a reminder that we are not psychiatrists and not psychologists, just a couple ex-athletes trying to make a difference and end the stigma of mental health. Thank you guys for listening, and let's get to the show. Welcome, team, to episode 69 of the Keep Going Podcast, Athletes Shining a Light on Mental Health. This is your co-host, Luke Wheat, coming out of Knoxville, Tennessee today. We're joined by Nick Galitsis and Pat O'Malley. Coming near the AHQ, Pat? Where are you at?
I'm in Raleigh, baby. I'm just more impressed that Luke just nailed Nick's last name because I was sitting here thinking I'm not going to nail that. So, awesome.
Started immediately after he told us because it would have left the brain.
Yes. There's a brief reminder that we are human beings. This is a mental health podcast. So we make mistakes as well, but Luke just crushed that. I'm sitting at Casey's gas station, home of the breakfast pizza. I'm in the parking lot heading to work after this. Nick, where you at?
I'm in New Jersey right now. So
very nice. What town, what city you in?
I'm in Saddle River, New Jersey, so I'm about 30 minutes from New York. So
okay. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah. I talk about it on the podcast all the time. My girlfriend goes to Stony Brook in Long Island. So
nice.
Not too far by any means, but awesome stuff. Yeah. Go ahead, Luke.
No, me and the girlfriend have been kicking around the idea of doing a train tour, kind of going to DC, then Pennsylvania, then up to Connecticut, New Jersey, like all those places through the train. So I need to get up that way and kind of connect with all of our Northeastern friends for sure.
That's for sure.
They've been fun on the part. Been a ton. So I need to get up there and connect with them and see the Stony Brook girls play. Come on.
Yeah, come on. What you got, Nick?
What's up?
What were you saying, Nick?
Oh no, I was telling him come on by. We could golf.
Yeah,
love that.
Going later today, little par 3 course.
Par 3.
Love it, boys. Well, hey, I could chop up about vacation plans all day with y'all, but Nick, in all seriousness, man, we're excited to have you. Not only having someone of your caliber in the mental health world, but like we talked about in the prelude, you're a handsome dude. So it's nice to have somebody to plug the YouTube that looks this good on camera, Nick. So in all seriousness, man, tell me about yourself, intro yourself, what's been going on your way.
Yeah, so I'm Nick Galitsis. I'm 20 years old. I founded my company, Elite Motive, when I was 18, and I'm a former collegiate football kicker and punter. My story is a little different from everybody else's because I kind of made a career change 2 weeks ago in the athletic field. But I could get started now if you guys want to kind of pull you guys through it.
Yeah, man, go right ahead.
So I know you started collegiate football, but now you're running a business. You started your own business. So how did you kind of balance those two, and what are you doing now?
Yeah, so basically the way I started it was coming out of high school, committed to St. Lawrence University, went freshman year, tore a ligament in my knee going into the freshman year. So obviously I was injured that whole season, all of that. So I kind of got the perspective of what it was to be an injured athlete because I've never really had that. I mean, in high school I was starting on kickoff, punt, and field goal. So we go into the freshman year, get hurt, get surgery, go up a month late, all that stuff, and kind of just living in the injured athlete's lifestyle, which is obviously very difficult. So kind of going through that after a couple months, I realized it wasn't sustainable. It wasn't really what I wanted to do, right? No one really wants to be injured.
Yeah.
And I kept on seeing things about athletes dying because of their mental health. And so there I was sitting in my dorm room, and everything that we wore was from a big name brand. And there was nothing that you could really stand for with this brand. And when it came out of the wash, it was staticky. Just the products weren't performing. And
right,
there was nothing that I could stand for while wearing it. Right. So I knew I wanted to do two things: start a business my whole life, and now help people that I could relate to because of my injury. So a couple months later, after living this lifestyle and realizing that I got to get healthy with my knee, I just wanted more. That's the biggest thing. I've always had a mindset since I was little, like if anybody's going to do it, it's me. And so I was sitting in my dorm like drawing up this logo, which looked nothing like this logo that I'm wearing now. And I still have it framed because it's kind of funny. I'm terrible at art, but literally I packed 3 bags, one for my footballs, one for my textbooks, and one for my clothes, and I left. I left my whole dorm room up there, completely left. Came home, started from nothing again, went to rehab for my leg, started that whole process. And through that maybe 6-month period, I kind of found what I wanted to do, or what I thought I wanted to do, which was go play D1 football at a big school. Because prior to getting injured, my longest field goal was 58 yards. So I was kind of in that threshold already to begin with.
Kind of what everybody wants to do in high school, right? That's kind of what the dream is talked up to be. That's kind of what everybody's mind is on, right?
Right, 100%. And like when you're growing up, that's what you want to do as well. Like you're a young kid and you want to be in front of whatever, you want to be in the lights, right? And you want to embrace that. So I come home, start rehab, think that's going well. So I book a trip to Tennessee to kind of, like, if I did well there, I would be at a big school. Like that was the place to be at that point in time in July. Yeah. So a couple months of rehab, 6 months of rehab around, I think I'm doing pretty well going in. I feel good. I take the flight, get there a day before, look at all that stuff that all these athletes do. And I actually, because of my surgery, so I have really flat feet. So the tendon that I tore was a gracilis tendon. So it kind of holds together everything. It's like a support tendon next to your hamstring, right on your knee. So because of that being taken out, my stability kind of was gone.
Yeah, it's
and I didn't realize that, right? So I'm going through this regular rehab just thinking it's this or whatever, it's that. So I get to Tennessee. I'm warming up the day before. It's 104 degrees in the Smokies. I was like feeling it. I was getting a sweat on. I had my headphones in. We were all warming up, everything like that. I go to do a dry kick, and it's a kick where you don't hit a ball. You're just practicing. And my adductor ripped, and I just felt it. And I was like, all right, like at that point, the only thing that was like keeping me in this was like the determination, because my body wasn't letting me do it, right? So my head was the only thing that was just like, all right, we're going to go to the hotel, we're going to ice the whole night, and then we're going to go tomorrow, and we're going to try to pull something out and just try to perform, like just see what we can do, right?
Right.
So that whole night, I was icing. I talked to my coaches back here at home on the phone. We're going through a plan. Like, we're like, all right, well, now we're kind of in a position where you have to bounce back somehow, even though your body won't let you. So go the next day, all taped up, had KT tape, whole hamstring, whole adductor, all like popped like 3 ads right before on. Yeah, it was wild. And then I get there, first ball I hit, I could barely like get off of it, and I was like, all right. So I was kicking, like at that point, you're in front of your dream, like you're literally
staring down your dream.
You're staring it down, and you're kicking with the best of the best. I mean, the whole SEC had guys there. The whole SEC had their top guys there. Like everybody, you're kicking against. And I hit some decent balls. Like obviously, I wasn't kicking what I wanted to do because, I mean, I couldn't perform. Yeah. So I made a connection with the coach down there, and I was like, listen, like this is my dream. Like obviously, I have skill because we watched the film. What can we do? So he's from Florida. So he's like, okay. He invited me down to Florida about 5 months later. Okay. So I'm going through rehab again. I'm going through another season of rehab. So 5 months of rehab. And my quad was never an issue. But again, with this type of thing, and I just figured this out now with one of my coaches, but my whole leg is kind of rotated in. So the whole quad is kind of like all these tendons and muscles are having pressure on them when they shouldn't be.
Domino effect, basically.
Right. So you're trying to catch up to something that you're never going to catch up to.
Yeah.
And so 5 months of rehab, I fly out to Florida. I feel good again, feeling good. hydrated, didn't do the warm-up the day before because I was like, I'm not messing this up. So we go out in the morning. I'm ready to go, eat breakfast, whatever, do all that stuff, my pregame routine. First ball I punted, same thing, but my quad now. And I couldn't win. I was like, I just didn't know what to do. I was kind of checked out. So we go back to the hotel room. I'm a wreck. I'm like, all right, I don't know what to do. Do I want to quit this? I couldn't make a decision. So anyways, go back home, get an MRI. I tore my quad. So tear the quad, go through rehab again, another 6 to 7 months of rehab. And that was like my second time of failing right at my, like that. If I performed, I would have been shipped to a school that day. So that's like 2 strikes with your dream right there. So I come home, rehab again, doesn't really work out. Another 6 months wasted. Come summertime this past August, got a PRP injection. Thought it was going to work. Got a new coach, new team. Great. I love them. We're about to go. This was about 3 weeks ago, kicking again. So we were kicking 21 balls that day. I thought it was going great. We were lifting. I was kicking soccer balls the day before. But obviously it's different when you're kicking a football because the weight and the
full speed. Yeah.
So we do that. On the 21st ball, we're at a 30. This stuff sounds like, I kid you not, this could not have happened any other way. 21st out of 21 balls, I felt the same pain in my quad. So we're kind of at the end of it, and we're like, all right, you're getting older. The business is you're not going to be able to travel as much when you're playing because now the business is ramping up. So you can't really, I can't give this up. It's everything to me. So maybe we look at a different path. And I've always been really good at golf. So starting 2 weeks ago, I went to the PGA to get evaluated and get my swing evaluated. And we decided that we're going to go full into golf and see if I can qualify for a tour or something like that, or play in college next year at hopefully an SEC school or however it is. But I just wanted to make sure it was real before I pursued anything. And the numbers were right where they need to be, so it's good. But I just wanted to tell you guys that just to kind of
100%.
Let you know, like I've felt every feeling an athlete can feel, whether it's being at the top of your game and being the guy to being injured you're 2 years and you're just banging your head against the wall and trying to figure it out because you think you want to do this, right? This is what you think you're meant to be here for. But I think in the long run, like looking back at it these past 2 weeks, it couldn't have, like, this is much more than I could have asked for. Like, I love this lifestyle now.
Yeah. Perspective. Yeah,
right.
man.
It's every business that I know that succeeds, like small time business that starts with one person or 2 people or 3 people,
right.
is it comes out of an experience where you want to change it for somebody else.
That's the biggest thing. And I think, like, if I didn't go through these hardships or if I didn't go through any of that, I would not be where I am today. Like, I'm grateful for, as hard as it was to deal with it at the time and as hard as it was to kind of look at your dream and like let it win and like not be able to do anything about it. That's the hardest thing to deal with. But in the end, like, you're not really doing it for yourself. Like, you have to find your why deep inside. And for me, that's to spread my faith, to help other people find things that they enjoy in life. Like I did, right? Like I found golf, I found surfing, I found other things that other than football where I can kind of find the same joy. And just put on a performance with people, like what we're doing today. We're helping other people, but we're enjoying it. So I think if you're doing it to leave the world a better place than you found it, I think you'll be much more fulfilled than just doing it for yourself.
Absolutely. I agree. Part of that is your connection with your sales from your company to hit an opponent correct and
right.
kind of doing a little bit of a deal with them. What do you got running with Hidden Opponent on your sales?
Yeah, so basically we donate 1% for every sale. I'm in the middle of working on a model that we're going to launch in the summer. That's going to be really cool. We're going to do a pretty big scale launch. So basically the Hidden Opponent, it's nothing really written. It's not really a written partnership, but we're, I guess, affiliated with them as we donate for every sale. So
Yeah.
the big thing I want to do with the model we're going to launch is have big events. And I plan on contacting Leanne from the Hidden Opponent and kind of getting you guys involved and maybe doing something together and kind of getting the word out and just trying to get athletes who are maybe injured or need something else to fall back on to kind of find what they want to do and
and this all comes from you, man. You know, it all comes from that, like that, taking that negative and turning it into a positive. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, man, I agree, and I think, Nick, listening to your story, first and foremost, man, I spent the last couple minutes here just kind of unlayering that. There's a lot there, man, and I just want to tell you that I'm sorry you went through that.
Yeah.
But I keep going back to the happiest people have the healthiest perspective.
Right.
Your perspective in all this, understanding with your faith, with your people, with your new mindset, you know now you're right where you should be. And I think there's power in that. And as I'm listening, and I listen kind of differently, we've done how many episodes now? You brought up your younger self a bunch during that. You talked about the never giving up piece, the living the dream piece.
Yeah.
Talk about you as a kid, man. Like, I need to take a backtrack because I think there's so much more good before you got to being an athlete. So tell me about you as a kid, what's going on, you chasing that dream, and we'll pivot into where we're at now.
Yeah, I mean, me, as I was growing up, I played every sport. I mean, the only two sports that I've never played were lacrosse and wrestling. Like, I played every sport. So, I mean, I was always kind of trying to be a pro. Like, that's since I was born. I mean, my mom would tell me, like, you literally, when you were 1 year old, you were juggling a golf ball with your feet. And I didn't, obviously, I don't remember that, but I was just always like, I wanted to do something big, whether that was watching Shark Tank when I was 5 years old with my parents and saying, I'm going to do that. And like now I'm going back to that, or just like playing every sport and just trying to find something or whatever it is. And I even related it to like yesterday, I was practicing for golf. I played 18 holes. And I tried to relate to myself when I was younger, because when I was younger, I would wake up at 6:30 for baseball, for T-ball, and then I would put on my I wore the pants up to your knees because I like the swag.
Oh, come on, bro. You already know.
Yeah, like 5 years old, I was a switch hitter. And so I wore those pants. I was ready to go. My dad was like, "What are you doing? You're playing at 9:30. Like, there's no point in doing this."
Yeah, man.
I was ready to go. Like, I mean, in my old house, I made dents in the walls, so I'd always throw balls at the walls and like.
Yeah, man.
The parents love that one. The parents love that one.
Yeah.
Anything with sports, like I just dove, and that was like. It's funny you guys mentioned the younger self, because when I started the company, I actually met someone in Florida. I was on a trip with my dad because my godfather passed, so we had to.
Sorry for your loss, bro.
Yeah, thank you. And so I met someone down there, just talking, because we had nothing to really do, and everybody just went into the hotel and kind of chilled in the lobby, and I didn't know this person, so we were talking, and I was like, they were telling me that they weren't proud of. I don't know how we got to that, but they weren't proud of where they were in their life, and I was like, well, what would your younger self tell her? Like, and I didn't even think about younger self perspective until that conversation. Yeah. I was like, well, what would your younger self think about you right now? Or what would your younger self wanted to have done? And they were like, they would be right where they are now. And I was like,
yeah, man.
Then you have nothing to regret. Like, you literally have nothing to regret. So right after that, I got to thinking about myself, and I was like, when you're younger, right, and you're growing up, like, you don't have the stress of school. You don't. I mean, you do,
right.
but you don't. identify that as stress. You don't have the stress of the social life. You don't have the things
Right.
that
The external variables. Absolutely.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And so I keep telling a lot of people, I'm like, do what that person wanted to do, because
Yeah.
that person dove at whatever made them happy. They didn't think about, what if it doesn't work? What if this doesn't work? What if that doesn't work? What if I fail? Like, they just like dove because they're like, that is going to put a smile on my face and I'm going to do that. Right?
Yeah, man. Oh, that's so good, Nick.
No one
That's good, brother. Go ahead.
no one really thinks about that. And then when you go back to the fact that like everyone's created for a reason to be here, that's your reason. So go look at that, because you had that. You just don't have it now because you don't look at that. You're just not.
Yeah, man.
So
Yeah,
somebody
man.
that perspective, I mean, that's a great tip. Like, what were you passionate about before all these external variables kind of came into play? It's
Yeah.
just a thing, but I talk to Spence about this all the time. I was like, what would the world be like if everybody just ran everywhere like a kid?
That's
going out of the grocery store, going to your car, you're going through classes, you're running to the next class. Like, kids are so fired up to be places and just to do the simplest of things. And I think that's kind of what your point was sitting at. So it's just a stupid little thing that I talk about all the time.
No, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
a lot of people. Like, I was talking to one of my buddies the other day, and we were trying to think about something for him to kind of choose as a hobby, right? And I was like, well, what do you feel like you're here to do? Like, what do you feel like your purpose is in this life, right? Because everybody's here to do something, whether it's big, whether it's small, whether it's to help people, whether it's whatever it is. Like, the world has to run, right? So just because it's not as big as what other people do, it doesn't matter. You're still doing something to help the world run around, right? That's how it works. So I was saying, like for me, my whole life, my grandpa, when I was little, he was telling me you should be a kicker, right? And so my whole life, I was like, it was in the back of my mind, but it took me, like, I started kicking football as junior year of high school. So I didn't start until that time.
Yeah.
And they call my grandpa, they used to call him, he passed away when I was little, but they used to call him like Hawkeye. And the first time I ever kicked, the hawk came, laid on the lamp on the light post and watched, and then left.
Right.
And we,
Right.
So that I felt like, all right, I'm here. Like, I'm here. Let's do this. Like, I'm ready.
Right.
And when I went to Tennessee, that was like the first time that I felt like hell yeah. All right, like, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I feel like a lot of people have that feeling. And obviously for me, that wasn't where I'm supposed to be. I think right here is where I am. Like, this path that I'm on now is what I'm supposed to do. Which is fine, because I think that perspective of what I thought I was going to do was more so geared to me, where this perspective is leaving a legacy for other people and kind of bringing in other people to this, and it's just not for me alone.
Yeah, man.
Right?
No, I'm there.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's perfect. So I was telling him, I was like, what do you think you were created to be? Like, what do you think your purpose is? Like, what do you want to bring to the table? And what do you want to kind of be remembered for, I guess? And that's like, I feel like if everybody thought about what they dove at when they were younger, I think that phase should be kind of highlighted in people's lives, because that's what you're created to do. Just go. If you just go with that, you're going to be happy. I guarantee
I
it.
love it. I love it, man. And that's another segue to kind of where I want to go with this. Like, I can just tell there's so much passion here.
Yeah.
Like, to what you want to do. Like, we talk about, I always ask kids, I always ask student athletes, I always ask people, like, how old are you? Because, like, dude, you're in your lower 20s, right, bro? Like, how did you get to this point? Like, mentally, like, this young in your career, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now I'm 20. So
yeah, bro. Right.
But I guess, like, to answer your question, I mean, for me, the mindset is, like, if I don't do this, I'm living on the street. Like, if I don't put in the work now, if I don't, it's like all or nothing. So I think growing up, like I don't party, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any of that. And it's like, so my party, my whole life was like this, or working on a venture, or working on ideas for a business, or like, because I feel like my whole life it was like I have to be successful because I've seen people that have failed, or I've seen people that haven't made it, or like it was just like, why can't I start now? And I started this at 14, not this business, but I had ideas for businesses. I was sitting in a patent lawyer's office at 14 with like a terrible idea. Like it was awful.
Right, bro.
Um,
Right.
but
14
it
year
was,
old have, but that's okay.
Yeah, bro. There's a lot of glory in the try, my boy. There's a lot of
But I
glory in
think
the
that's
try. Go
one
ahead.
thing I think too
yeah,
is get old. Like you're 7 years behind us, 8 years behind us, but you're not behind us in business wise at all. So you've got
No.
a head start. Like at 20 years old, figuring this stuff out is impeccable for sure.
Yeah,
thank you.
go ahead, Nick. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but I think it all goes back to like what I said, like what we were saying about when I was little. It was like I'm watching Shark Tank and I was 4 years old telling my dad I'm gonna do that. So it's
Bro,
like
you sound like someone that would be on Shark Tank. Like you sound like a guy that would go in there with his dad at 14 and go, I got this great idea. And they'd say, Nick, I love your energy. I love your passion. Come back, bro. Like, come back. Like that's how it sounds. And I'm glad that you brought that up because like that's so key to fail relentlessly. Like to fail relentlessly, man. Like, damn.
yeah, I mean it's like for me, I think it's like the glory from my perspective is what if it works, right? Like
Yeah.
when I was kicking and I was about to quit in my hotel room in Florida, right after failing again, I was like, but what if I end up doing it? Then I'm gonna sit here when I'm 80 years old and regret everything I did, you know? So it's
Right.
like, but I also feel like as sitting here like at 20, it's like I feel old, which is a good thing for me, I think, because it's like I want to do it now. Like I don't want to wait. I don't care how much I fail. I don't care how much it doesn't work right now, or if it does work. Like for example, when I first started the business, I put a product into a store that I didn't know if it was going to work. I mean, the owner didn't. So we are just like testing it out. We didn't post anything about it. We had other partners at the time that we sold with, and we still do, but it was a different thing. And so we go in, and I'm like brand new to business at this time. I'm like figuring it out, just trying to work my way in the industry, trying to make a name, whatever. And so we go in, put the product in, come back a couple like weeks later, whatever. I literally found and I had a bad feeling going out of the store, but I found my product, what I'm wearing right now, thrown in the back of a warehouse in a box and all over the place. It looked like
Right.
and it was like they just completely disrespected my product.
Right.
And
Right.
I was fuming. I was like obviously I was very cordial with them and didn't like, can I just have my product and we left, right? And it was very low key. But I got home and I was like, I want to quit. I was like, I'm done. Like this, I'm closing it tomorrow. And then I sat down and 2 hours later, I was like, all right, let's go again. What if it works? You know, like
What
it's
if it
just
works?
forgetting that. And it's like, a thing that I learned from that is the environment and how important your environment is, because that's the right product. Clearly, we've proven that, just in the wrong environment. So
Yeah.
that's helped me. Like failing like that is going to build you 100%. It's built me. Like it helped me forecast. It helped me judge who I'm going to work with, because you don't have to work with everyone. It's helped me judge my target market. Like it helps you with really everything.
Yeah, and you got two choices at that point, right? When
Right.
your back's against the wall. One, I can come home, feel sorry for myself, and be around people that say, Nick, you got screwed, man.
Yeah.
Come on, Nick. We knew this was great. This wasn't good. Let's go be upset about it. Or you can pivot, adjust, and like we always say, keep moving forward. That you chose to do that. You didn't let one person's opinion break you down to your core. You let yourself feel it and then move forward.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think like I've learned over time. Like before, I didn't like my back against the wall. but now I love it. I'm like, bring it. Whatever we got to do, and we just go.
That takes me where I want to go to. And I have to ask you, man, I'm looking up at the clock. We're 30 minutes in, and I feel like we're talking in the back of a bar right now. That's how I feel. 30 minutes in, I got to ask you, man, tell me your keep going moment when you could have got broken down by this. Life got tough. Got to the other side. Talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like, even from a personal standpoint, like, I lost 2 grandparents within 2 months. Like, it was a bunch of stuff that happened. People getting sick, family members dying, like, all that stuff. And one moment, it was like my dog got very sick, like to the point where we brought her to the hospital. This was like a week after I lost 2 grandparents. And so she got very sick. The hospital's like, she's dying tonight. Like, that's it. And so we were like destroyed. So we go to another hospital. They end up saving her. And just like, it was crazy. Like, she was like halfway done by the time we got to that first hospital.
Right.
So they rushed her. Like, it was crazy. So I'm in the parking lot and I'm just like, all right, like, what's going on, right? And so I think when you find like your why and like what I said, what it was, you really think like, all right, well, it's either I feel sorry for myself and like this moment right now is affecting me.
You're feeling it. Yeah.
But it's not affecting the people I'm going to help tomorrow if I quit now, right? It's like none of them are feeling that. I'm feeling it. But it goes back to your, if anybody can do it, it's me mindset, right? So I'm in the parking lot. I'm like, what is this? Like, I'm literally losing everybody. And it's like, whatever, right? At that point. But I think when you have something and a purpose and you know that like you're going to help those people and you're going to do things for the world that like will never be forgotten. Like, you're going to live for much longer than you're actually going to live. Your legacy is going to live. I think that's what keeps me going. It's like, I'm not doing it for me at this point. Like, yeah, all this stuff is happening to me. And yeah, it's hard for me to do this at this point in my life, right? But everybody goes through stuff. So, like, those people are going through same stuff, if not worse, right? And I have to be strong so those people can find themselves and find their hobbies and experience the joy that I experience with my buddies now, where we surf and golf and do whatever we want to do, you know, like
it's bigger than you, man.
Yeah. I mean, I think the people that quit are the people that focus on themselves and only themselves.
Right.
And I think that's why a lot of people quit, is because 1, they don't believe in themselves that they can do it. 2, they don't have a why, like they don't know their why at least. And then 3, they feel like they're alone. And that's the big thing, is like, my goal is to make no one feel alone. And that's a bit like, just create a community of people that like can enjoy things together. It doesn't have to be your sport. Let's say a lot of guys in the NFL, right? They get hurt on pro day. And then what do? They don't know what to do. They're destroyed, right? So it's taking that and building it back up to someone who can find something else that brings them the exact same amount of joy, right? So to answer your question, I keep going moment is whenever it gets too tough, just slow down time. Like I've learned how, because of how fast I've had to grow up with everything going on. It's like when you could slow down time and like just take it a second by a second, and you're like, all right, let's like just stop here, pump the brakes, look at everything, and it's like, let's go. You find a route and you just go, and you don't look back.
I love it. Nick, I love it, man. And I love who you are and what you're becoming. I think you're someone 70 episodes in that a year or 2 from now, 3 years, 4 years from now, you're going to have to come back on and tell us, hey, bro, hey, boys, we're still going here. Because I think it's motivating for people that have been shaken to their core.
Yeah.
Shaken to the point where they have had no control over the outcome. But man, and Inky talks about it all the time. Inky Johnson talks about it. Staying with it, staying on course, doing your thing long after that feeling why you started is gone.
Well, yeah, and I think think about in 3 or 4 years when you come back on, think about the amount of people you will have impacted at that point too. It'll just
Amen.
What launching is projected to do insane metrics. So I think, and the big thing about me is like I like to keep my circle like family. Like so,
Yeah.
I host dinners here all the time with my buddies. We cook whatever after rounds of golf. I mean, you guys are always welcome wherever I'm at. Just making it a whole family vibe. That's the biggest thing. So no
Nick,
matter
I love it.
we're always going to be the same.
I got you, man. Well, hey, we'll definitely get on something once we kind of see where we're going here, because you're doing stuff with THO already. You know, we have a couple nonprofits. We're becoming a nonprofit. There's a lot of growth here and a lot of impact here, man. So we'll be here to help you every step of the way. If we ever can, let us know. But I usually like to wrap us up with a couple of quick questions, Luke. I'll let you shoot one. I'll shoot one, and we'll wrap us up today.
100%. Mine's a fun one. Favorite club in the bag to use for golf?
Right now I'd say driver.
Only answer. That's the only answer.
Yeah.
Love it, man. So driver's the best in the bag. My question would be along the lines of impact and growth as well. We've done a bad job of this, and I admit it every single episode about asking guests, how can we help them? So with your business, with your personal brand, with your impact, vision, mission, how can we help you going forward? You've helped so many today, man, thousands of people, so we appreciate it.
Yeah. I would say just kind of supporting the mission. That's really it. I mean, any support is great. So whatever you guys feel you can do, that's it. That's perfect.
Love
awesome, man. And we will. And this is how I'm going to cap off the episode. So, Nick, if you've listened to other episodes in the past, you know that we always shout out the number episode with a sport player every week.
Yeah.
With the number that we have today at number 69, there's not a lot of love for that number. I think Jared Allen wore it at some point.
Okay.
Do you have a 69 that someone wore at some point, Nick? I'm putting you on the spot, brother.
Trying to think.
Because if not, it's the most, and I Googled this, it's the most popular created player in Madden's number in the history of Madden, by the way.
Well, I did a jersey swap at one of my college practices, and I got 69.
There it is. There it is. There it is. Because that number, for a wide variety of different reasons, it just isn't worn much in the NFL and other sports. But I had to ask you, bro. I had to ask you. Nick, last question, man. We touched on it a little bit. Tell our listeners your legacy plan, man. I've been asking our guests this. Tell our listeners your legacy plan. We'll cap off today.
So you're saying like
your legacy plan, like what is your mission when it's all said and done, man? What do you want to be remembered for? Okay.
So I guess my legacy plan, like if I was sitting on my deathbed at 90, whatever it is, I would want to have helped over 1 million people find themselves and kind of find purpose in the world. I would have wanted to have put on the most electric performance in the PGA history.
Fair enough.
And I would have wanted to just be at peace with kind of doing what I said I would do. That's the biggest thing, is like kind of keeping my word and doing exactly where I said I was going to, like going exactly where I said I was going to go, and kind of just make everything into reality from the idea. So there's a couple things I want to accomplish in my life that I always tell people, like once I do those 3, I'm done and I'll be completely at peace. And that's 1, be a professional athlete, 2, run a successful business, and 3, spread my faith. So that's,
I love it, bro. I love it, bro. And I got a cousin on the tour. He's coming on here in a couple months, and we'll have to get y'all connected, man. But Nick, this has been a blessing. It's been an honor. It's been a privilege to jump on with you. Luke, as always, bro, it's great connecting with you. And boys, keep going. We appreciate the time. Love you guys.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Later, guys. Peace.